until today, we have read about the Lord's encounters or appearances to different groups of people after his resurrection. Because life after resurrection is different than before. And I would like us to just dwell on this thought. Life after resurrection is and should be different than before. The mindset, attitudes, and feelings and dealings with each other must be different, must be resurrection worthy, if we can use this word. As a reminder, we didn't celebrate the Feast of Resurrection last Sunday and then we're done, we're back to normal. We are living in the new life, and this is why we celebrate these 50 days after resurrection. It is living in the new life. It is like living in the 8th day. The church fathers and tradition tells us that the 8th day is a day of the new life when we live in the kingdom eternally with the Lord. The Lord made everything in 6 days. He rested in the 7th day. And after resurrection, we enter with him his rest. But it is different kind of rest, and it is signified by this 8th day. There are many things to think about and reflect after resurrection, but I'll choose only one thought today, which is reconciliation. Jesus, after his resurrection, he was on a mission of restoration and reconciliation. As he also gave us this ministry of reconciliation. If you want to do like Good Friday and pull up your Bible apps and follow with me, in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 18, St. Paul tells us, now all things are of God. Again, 2 Corinthians 5:18. All things are of God, who has reconciled us to himself through Jesus Christ. And like here's the second part of the deal. He didn't only reconcile us so that we can just enjoy being at peace with God, no. But the second part of the deal, and has given us the ministry of reconciliation. So we are not only reconciled with God, praise God, but it is us also who have been given this ministry, this calling for those people in our life that we may have labeled as unsafe or unhealthy, or they hurt us. Our broken human way is to reject, is to cut relations, is to judge, label, is to alienate the person for life, among many other things. But if we reflect on what the Lord has done in order to restore people, Mary Magdalene, it is known that she was the woman who was possessed with 7 spirits, 7 demonic spirits. She was sinful, she was possessed, she was labeled. And after the Lord healed her, she followed him all his life and his ministry on earth. And she was the first one to go to the tomb. She loved so much. And this love gave her courage. And the time where all disciples fled away, and nobody wanted to identify with the Lord. She was moved by love against all odds. Scary times, woman, alone, no men around, doomed and judged by a label that not easy to be taken away from her. And plus, Jesus was already dead, and a great stone was by the door of the tomb. But this didn't stop her. And also, he did not want to disappoint her. And he spoke with her in the way that she needed. The beauty of how God restores us is that he speaks with us in the way we need, not the way we should, not the way people say we should listen. No, in what we need. Mary Magdalene, she needed to be called by her name. She needed to be seen, to be heard. Not to be seen as that woman who was possessed by 7 spirits or a sinful woman. But she needed to be called, and this is why he called her by her name, Mary, as a sign of love and appreciation, and that she existed. She existed. How many times we ignore people just because they hurt us? I understand there are boundaries. If someone hurt me, I can establish boundaries to not allow him or her to hurt me again. But I can still make peace with them. I can still reconcile with them. I can still acknowledge their existence. And this is what the Lord did with Mary Magdalene. She had a history of sin and shameful acts, but he saw her. And he told her, you matter and you exist. He knew her by name. Thomas, the one we just heard now, he is like many of us, like many of our youth and our younger generation. They like to think. They ask too many questions, and they have the right to ask. Not because we believed in a certain generation or a certain era of our life that believing was easier than now. It doesn't make them that wrong or should not ask questions. No, here's the perfect example of Jesus seeing and hearing those who ask hard questions. People demand proofs. People demand answers. And there's a trend now, even on TikTok, that it's called a deconstruction of religion. Right? Those who are on TikTok, you can look it up. Deconstruction. People are dismantling and deconstructing religion. Why? Because there was a time in their life they asked hard questions and they were given the cliches. Or they were told, don't question that, just believe, just follow. And in this day and age, it is hard to just believe and follow. And the way God talked to Thomas, he talked with him according to his needs. We tend to see what God told him, blessed are those who believe yet did not see. It is either or, that he put Thomas in a lower category. No, actually no. He acknowledged those who believed without seeing, but more than that, he came to Thomas personally, individually. We tend to see things in black or white, better than or higher and lower. Thomas is in a lower category because those who believed and did not see should be better. I don't think so. The Lord deals with everyone on the continuum with the same attention, with the same love. He deals with you according to what you really need. And he told him, don't be unbeliever, but be a believer. And come, examine me. I am yours. So for those of us who still have questions, come and examine, ask, dig deeper, and believe. At least you can believe that the Lord is capable of showing himself to you in your own way. Thomas needed this way. I don't know about you, but you know how you need to believe. Tell him, God, show yourself to me. Yesterday was the gospel in the liturgy. It was about the transfiguration. And it is beautiful, like how the church put these readings together. Yesterday, the transfiguration, Jesus, before the crucifixion, took James, let's see it. Me? Peter, James, and John. My memory is not that good anymore. Peter, James, and John. He took them and he revealed himself to them in all his glory. And he told him, don't tell anyone. But now, after resurrection, the glory is for us. Jesus appears through closed doors. He can transfigure in your own life and shine his light on you in your own way. And you don't have to hide it or to shut it down. But at least believe that he can answer you in your own way. Peter has many issues. And Peter, we love him because we chose him as the patron of our church, as the same patron of our church. Why? Because he looks like us. He looks like everyone, actually. Peter had this pride and had this faith and knowledge that he was special and that he was superior to others. And even he dared them to stay with the Lord. And he told Jesus, if everyone left you or denied you, I will never deny you. And then you know what happened after. So he's like me, he's like you. We commit, we say promises, we think we are better than others, but then in the time when we really need to show up, we fail. And we become naked. We hear about this story that Peter reverted to his old ways. He told his brethren, disciples, I'm just going to fish, right? I'm going back to my boat. This is what I know. I failed Christ, I failed you, I failed myself. I'm just going back to what I know. I'm gonna go fish. And also, you know the story. When Jesus appeared, the boat was full of fish. He was naked. He jumped in the water to hide. And that's what we do. But then Peter needed to be asked this question. Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? Not about why you denied me, not about you went back to your old profession, not why you're naked. I know you're naked, and not only naked from clothes, but your soul, maybe, your spirit has become naked. And I'm here to cover you. And the only cover is that you know that you love me. That's it. It is more than sufficient that you tell God, God, I love you. I don't know why, I don't know how. I'm naked, I'm full of shame. I'm impulsive like Peter. I have many moods, right? Again, Peter, like many of us, right? We are impulsive, we have mood swings. We are شوية hot, شوية cold, and we are unpredictable. And one question restored Peter. Do you love me? And that's it. So Jesus with Peter, there was no blame, no cold shoulder, no stonewalling as we do with other people who deny us or betray us. No days and weeks and months without communication or silent treatment, right? We are good at this. We do silent treatment to many people. We give the cold shoulder. And it does nothing, actually. It increases the distance between us and people. And remember, we are given this ministry of reconciliation. Yes, God reconciled with me, but the second part of the story, He gave you this ministry of reconciliation. Actually, Jesus did exactly with Peter what He told him about forgiveness. Peter came to Jesus in the early days, and he asked him, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times? And Jesus told him, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. Again, I can forgive, I can make peace. At the same time, it's okay, I can protect myself with healthy boundaries. Even Jesus had boundaries with people. So boundaries are healthy as long as it's for a good reason, which is to keep me healthy and keep the other person healthy. But forgiveness is for everyone, because I receive it every time. I ask for it every time. I deserve it every time, right? God forgive me, that's it. So yes, people deserve to be forgiven. Do not stonewall. Do not give the cold shoulder. Love, despite everything, was just enough. The last example, the 2 disciples of Emmaus, or Emmaus. Disappointed, brokenhearted, confused, and Jesus walked with them. They needed like a good walk. How many of us, when we are broken or confused, just need a friend to just take a walk with us? And this does it, right? So those 2 people just needed a good walk with Christ. He walked with them, and He opened their eyes and restored them. So again, how do you see yourself now? And how do you see other people in your life? Sinful, rejected, unlovable, undeserving? I want you, and I am reminding myself as well, to see people in the Lord's eyes. Whether the Mary Magdalenes in your life, whether the Peters in your life, or the Thomases in your life, or the 2 disciples of Emmaus in your life, they deserve a place in your forgiveness. Because your life after resurrection, after last Sunday, after every day with the Lord should be different, should be in the ministry of reconciliation. Nothing is more valuable than a loving, peaceful relationship. With boundaries, of course. But nothing is more worthy in this life than peaceful relationships. time to restore ourselves. It's time to restore other people. It's time to make peace. To him all glory forever. Amen.
Chosen God.